Assalamu alaikum. So, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on the issue of cryptocurrencies and a little bit of how the Islamic finance industry should look at cryptocurrencies. What is the attitude with which we come to the table to discuss this matter? Now, first of all, I'm assuming that the general motion of the public is that of skepticism, is that of curiosity, and more or less denial of whether cryptocurrency will be a viable force in the future and whether it is something which can replace the current banking and monetary system, and what status does it hold from a financial perspective but also from an Islamic perspective, right? So generally when people argue against cryptocurrencies, against blockchain technology, and in favor of conventional banking and monetary system, even if they are Muslims, even if they are practitioners of Islamic finance, we need to really understand why are they supporting the conventional banking and monetary and financial system, and why are they opposing this new form of monetary system which is decentralized and which can operate in trustless environments and which is so much more secure and which does not need a third party. So all these good things are coming with blockchain technology, but why is this being dealt with skepticism and criticism and denial? And why is the old system, which has created so much poverty in the world, which has created so much zulm in the world, why is this seen with so much faith and so much trust? Why do we put so much trust on a system which has failed so utterly? Right? That's the question I'm trying to ask. Now, we need to go back a little bit in time, and we need to read the history of money and how humans interacted with each other and how the role of money emerged, right? And if we go back, we see that money was not a separate identity. Money did not have a separate identity in society. Rather, it was that I want something which you have and you want something which I have, and we would exchange things, right? That's how the barter operated. Or if there is a third person who has something which I need, right? But I don't have something which he needs. So we might then face the problem of the double coincidence of wants, right? And the theory generally goes that this is what led to the development of money. And even when money was developed, it was not invented in a day. It was not even invented in a century. Rather, it was a process of hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years, which led us to where we are today. There were primitive forms of money, and any commodity which was widely available and very commonly present in nature could be taken up as primitive form of money. So cattle, cows and sheep, they were treated as money because that was a standard of value, in certain places in certain time. Pieces of rock is abundantly found in nature, so rocks of certain shape were accepted as medium of exchange, therefore also money. Cowries or seashells, which are found on Cornish beaches near the sea, they were widely accepted as money. So anything basically which two humans or a group of people in society, which they would agree to basically accept as a medium of exchange, that became the medium of exchange. Full stop. Like there is no specific divine intervention that only this can be money and this cannot be money. Rather, this is a very natural and a very evolutionary and a very fluid and a very flexible system which has emerged in different forms, in different ways, in different places, in different times. You know, so if the kind of rigid understanding of finance and even the rigid understanding of Islamic finance which we have today, if we take the same mindset and then look at human history, well, then we would consider everything to be impermissible, right? How come seashells are accepted forms of currency? How come cows and buffaloes are accepted forms of currency? There was a certain war which created so much inflation that the paper money was worthless. So in that wartime, cigarettes, people smoked cigarettes. Cigarettes became a viable form of currency during that period because they were relatively more scarce than paper notes, which were super abundant, and therefore they lost their value. So the point I'm trying to make is there's no hard and fast rule in our religion, and there's no hard and fast rule which is imposed upon us by our common sense that this is how economic system should be. There's no such thing. In fact, we should look forward to what is more innovative, what is more creative, what is more beneficial for the masses, and what takes away power from the concentrated hands of few and gives it to many more people, right? That should be the priority. And as far as we are abiding by the basic principles of Islam, which is prohibition of interest, riba, prohibition of gharar, prohibition of maisar, prohibition of gambling and speculation, all these things, then as long as we are abiding by these basic rules of Islam, then even from an Islamic perspective, it's all fine, it's all good, right? Now, in fact, I don't understand why people are so submissive towards the current system of finance, especially in the Islamic finance world. I mean, even if you look at the current Islamic banking system, it is hardly Islamic. I know I might get a lot of criticism for saying this, but having studied Islamic banking and Islamic finance, and having also studied conventional banking, there really isn't much of a difference. There might be a lot of difference if you look at it from a theoretical point of view, but if you look at it from a practical point of view, then really the differences really cease to exist. There might be some Arabic words being used. There might be some reference asset backing in things like tavarruq, in things like bayal ina, in things like sukuk, in things like all these Islamic finance instruments. There might be some reference physical backing, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's very superficial, and the end result and the end mechanism and the end implication for society is the same as the conventional banks. So if you want to doubt anything, then doubt the current Islamic banking system of the world, right? Whereas the blockchain technology is not really something to be scared of. They're not coming with a new religion or a new ideology or a new philosophy. What they're coming with is a better system to distribute power amongst the people, to distribute trust, to basically dissolve trust from individual personalities to a system which is fair, relatively more fair than a centralized system, right? So the point I was making earlier is that uh, we have accepted things like seashells and stones and cows and buffaloes and crops and cigarettes as money. If we can accept those things, and if we can accept those things as money, then why can we not accept cryptocurrencies as money, which is something which is based on such strict protocols that no VIP can break, no government can break. It's fair system for all, right? And you can have smart contracts which let you operate in a trustless environment. And please, even when you are dealing with cryptocurrencies, even when you are dealing with the blockchain technologies, then keep the Islamic fundamental principles in place. Avoid riba, avoid speculation, avoid gambling and gharar, avoid derivatives, right? In fact, I'll make a separate video on derivatives. Derivatives is something which even people who are not Muslim but incredibly successful in their life, like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, even they don't agree that derivatives do anything to hedge risk as such. I mean, they believe that derivatives create a lot more risk as a whole in the system, and they consider derivatives as a time bomb, which it has proven to be. But anyway, that is a separate topic. The point I'm trying to make is that everything we do in Islamic finance, we can do it better with blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies.